Well, I think it's absolutely fantastic that there are so many people here this evening. I'm here tonight as one minister. I'm joined up here by Senator Lyndon Farnham, the Economic Development Minister. In fact, there are a number of ministers and assistant ministers here tonight. And it doesn't actually matter, and it shouldn't matter, which one of us is actually up here speaking, because whilst I am, what I can say is that we have collective responsibility, and we are very much now a joined-up council of ministers, and with the sort of strong support of the Chief Minister, of Lyndon, the ED Minister and the Treasury Minister, with collective responsibility, you've got all ministers supporting the ambitions that are in your hearts and minds. I may be, of course, speaking to the converted, but I personally am convinced, and have been convinced for a long time, that digital is at the heart of the next phase of Jersey's economic evolution. Whether we succeed or not in that endeavour is, of course, up to some extent government support, but it's actually really about the success that you in this room have, and you are really the drivers of this change. When Ian Gorst asked me whether or not he'd like me to continue my responsibilities in financial services, but to add on digital innovation and competition, I was actually delighted. I personally think that I've got the best job in politics in leading these areas. I think it's the most exciting portfolio that exists in government. At the most high level, Lyndon and my job is to ensure, with our Assistant Minister's team, to ensure that we stimulate economic growth. That's, of course, what we're trying to do. What we've got to try and do is we've got to try and do everything that government could reasonably do to fast-track the evolution and the transition to a more digitally engaged and more digitally enhanced economy. And that, of course, helps Alan MacLean, because that eventually is going to produce the income that is going to be needed to pay for government spending. At the more practical level, our challenge that Lyndon and I have is to actually break down the silos that exist, both within government, within near government, and outside of government, that actually prevents the technology revolution that I want to say a few things about from actually happening. Anything that prevents a startup from setting up in Jersey, we want to know about it, and we want to break down those barriers. Digital policy, ladies and gentlemen, is at the heart of the new government's policy. The necessary high-powered political commitment, I've used the words before, but the rocket boosters, the turbochargers, the accelerators to get digital where it needs to be. For jurisdictions to succeed in digital, those jurisdictions need obviously to have stable and supportive governments. They need sound public finances. They need the right tax system. They need the right legal framework, the right regulatory environment, and of course, the right telecoms infrastructure. I've spent a lot of time in the last 6 years, of course, defending some of those issues, defending our competitive tax regime. And contrary to what some of you may have heard and to what the media will tell you, we still have in Jersey some of the strongest public finances of any country in the world. The problem that we faced is not unlike others. The difference in Jersey is that unlike other places that simply fail to have a debate about the inevitable changes that will happen to society, we in Jersey, just as our predecessors did when they were thinking about introducing the social security system, when they were thinking about the future, we're thinking about the future, and we are having the debate now in Jersey that isn't being held elsewhere about the changes that government need and societies need to make those changes. We are in a strong position, and we should not forget why we're in that strong position. We're good at thinking ahead, at solving problems before they happen. I often hear with some amazement the claims that government have about their deficits. Well, of course, a deficit apparently in the UK is now halved. Actually, what that means is the deficit is, the rate of increase in the deficit is now at a slower level than it is before. We're not in that position, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 100% of assets in GDP, not debt. And that's a great position for all of you in this room to go out and sell Jersey as a great place for tech businesses to set up. I suppose I should also confess that I was the minister that had to lead the charge in agreeing for the rollout of fibre. And yes, I have spent a lot of time defending, and I can see some of them in the room, of all of the JT people. I do not regret making the decision for rolling out fibre. Yes, of course there are issues in rollout. Yes, of course there are discussions to be had with JT. Yes, of course there are discussions, which I will have with the regulator, to give a clear, joined-up approach to what we want in terms of telecom infrastructure. I remain convinced that we can monetize the fantastic investment in telecoms infrastructure that we are making. Change is difficult, and I'm pleased to hear only this afternoon that JT is now making more progress and faster progress at rolling out fibre to businesses, and we want to see more than that. And together with Alan McLean, who is the partner in this telecoms agenda, I'm sure that we're going to give the right clarity to both JT and the regulator and all of you about how we deal with the infrastructure in the coming months. I think we are incredibly well placed in all of those fundamental requirements for what businesses and tech businesses are looking to in the choice of jurisdiction. Now, of course, disruptive technologies is revolutionising, as all of you know, how businesses and how our lives play out. The Industrial Revolution, it said, was all about modernising manufacturing. Well, the digital revolution is clearly about the revolution of the service-based economy. At the weekend, I took my 4-year-old niece to the V&A Museum of Childhood in the trendy East End tech vibrant part of London. And those of you who have had the time to follow my endless tweeting or vining as I did, I actually showed a real example of how a computer had evolved in the last 30 years. It was a timely reminder when I saw a picture and when I saw a real example of the Apple computer that I used when I was at university that had 56K. Can anybody imagine how that would work today? Technology is changing at a faster and faster pace, and we need to embrace it. Technology is revolutionising learning, healthcare, and the way, importantly, as Paul signalled, government should be delivering services. On the one hand, artificial intelligence is evaporating more and more jobs. The JP said we were going to be losing jobs in finance. Well, of course we are. But the job is going to be to create more new exciting jobs at a faster rate than the way that the artificial technology is going to evaporate them. And yes, we can do that. On the other hand, technology is unleashing a whole new opportunity, new ways of working, giving significant opportunities for more people to engage in flexible working at the time and at the pace that they weren't, giving people earning potential, and it's improving lives and services. I'm not sure if I can see any taxi drivers here tonight, and personally I think they get a bit too much of a hard time. I think they do a better service than many people give them credit. But I think that there's the reality that Uber is the new way of linking people who are seeking personal transportation with givers of personal transportation. Now, the taxi drivers are probably going to be very cross with me, just as they are in many places around the world. But an Uber-type application, which I use in many cities that I'm privileged to visit, matches somebody seeking a service with somebody that's prepared to supply it in a much more consistent, quality-assured way. Airbnb, I've been talking to Lyndon about how homeowners could potentially earn more revenue, how Airbnb is revolutionising the tourism industry. It's a tech business. It's matching a seeker with a provider. And extending our bed stock has the capacity of improving the productivity of the tourism industry. It has the potential of raising earnings, of giving more people a stake in the tourism industry. And of course, every additional person that we deliver to Jersey is going to be a pound that's going to be spent on the high street and in all the other areas of the economy. I welcome Airbnb, and I hope that I'm going to be able to work with Lyndon to roll it out. But of course, there will be the detractors. Babylon, a great example, providing more and immediate healthcare in a more affordable way in the past. We're now living in a world where labour and service seekers are matched using what I'm trying to deliver a speech with, which is, of course, a piece of mobile technology. In almost every developed country in the world, you can get new services more easily at a time and place when you want them, often at a more affordable price, actually a more market-driven price, and often with the middleman cut out. The digital revolution is underway. It's unstoppable. And if there are any person involved in the service sector, it's the revolution that is coming to an office near you. We should be embracing this revolution. Disruptive technology works both ways. It, of course, breaks down the traditional cartelized existing markets, which have actually meant that Jersey's inflation has been high. And at the same time, accepting it, it opens up opportunities for Jersey people, as I've said, to earn new money, to serve new markets. And that's the really exciting thing. I'm proud that Jersey has punched over centuries above its weight. We've done so with the impediment of being a small island with such an expensive area of sea around us, with only markets relatively near to where we can serve them. With the digital revolution, the Jersey entrepreneur, the Jersey app developer, the Jersey service provider, the Jersey lawyer, accountant, or whatever it is, can now serve a global market. In my view, Digital Jersey has to act as the voice and as the promoter of this new opportunity for Jersey. I believe that Jersey will continue to punch above its weight, and the digital world gives us that amplified, accelerated opportunity. Digital Jersey, as you've heard, and I thank Paul for his presentation. Digital Jersey, I'm quite clear, has to raise the level of debate about what digital will do for Jersey. What Digital Jersey has got to do is to help the island understand just how these opportunities and these changes are going to affect their lives and their choices in their lives about the careers and the paths that they follow, the way that their children will learn, and how we're going to look after older people in the future. I'm also quite clear that Digital Jersey has to work with government, and I'm determined that we do this in a more accelerated way, to work out exactly what is the USP for a standalone digital sector in Jersey. I'm sure that there is one. I'm sure that there is a real opportunity in the area of fintech. I've been to level 39. I'm taking Sir Philip and Lyndon to level 39 on Thursday. I want them to see, I want them to hear the energy that's around places like level 39, for them to see what opportunities there are for our existing financial services industry. They must be enormous. I want Digital Jersey to encourage, as Paul has said, the accelerated rollout in e-government. I actually hope it's not going to be necessary for Digital Jersey to do that, because with the strong support of the Chief Minister and Treasury Minister and all Council of Ministers, we actually want to make this Council make real progress on the e-government agenda. We can do so by providing better services, and we can improve the efficiency of your taxpayers' money. Now, I suppose compared to most digital startups, Digital Jersey is somewhat of an older entity. Startups now are just seemingly just a few months old. I say to the board and to the staff of Digital Jersey, you are no longer a fledgling organisation in the eyes of the island. Competitor jurisdictions are watching, and so is the island, for your results. And I'm sure that you're going to be able to deliver them. There will be, of course, people that will criticise. I remember the growing pains of Jersey Finance when it was set up 15 years ago. I remember the F&E committee sitting with Frank Walker and the endless discussions about whether or not we put an extra 50,000 in setting up Jersey Finance. There were detractors, there were critics. I wonder now where we would be if we hadn't have put the necessary political emphasis, the political resources and the cash behind Jersey Finance. Jersey Finance is succeeding, and we've achieved a lot in the last few years. I have not flinched in my support for Jersey Finance, and I will not hesitate to do the same thing with Digital Jersey. Digital Jersey must be given the resources and the support it needs to survive and win. And Digital Jersey, of course, must engage with the community that it works with. I realise that community is quite an important word to the tech industry. Digital Jersey is a group of all the things that Paul has explained, but it's first and foremost, and in terms of a community of common interest. The Jersey government is putting, as you've heard in the last week, jobs and growth at the top of its priority. And the Fiscal Policy Panel report last week said exactly that that was the right thing to do. Maximise efficiencies, maximise economic growth, and then we will reduce the need to call on taxpayers for the necessary investments that we're going to have to make as a result of the ageing society, which we should not be afraid of. I hope that I have a reputation for getting things done. I hope that you believe that I will be a strong advocate for the industry with my friends and colleagues, Lyndon and others, both at the Council of Ministers table here, in Jersey as a whole, in the media where necessary, and in London and beyond. There is a digital aspect, I'm telling ministers, for all their portfolios. Eddie Noel with an Uber equivalent, Lyndon with his Airbnb app, rollout potentially, but in all of the other portfolios in e-health and e-learning. I, along with Lyndon and Scott Wickenden, who's a surrogate, I can't give him an assistant ministership yet because I'm not a minister, but he's part of my team, and with Murray Norton and the other assistant minister, the Constable of the St Bernard in ED, we're part of a team. We all want to be digital in everything that we do. We want Digital Jersey to be successful, to be positioned to succeed. Over the last weeks, I realise there's been some constructive discussions about the DJ Digital Jersey budget, and let me be clear about that. In my view, it's vital that the momentum is kept up, and I'm grateful today to be able to confirm that with the support of the ED Minister and Treasury Minister, we are as confident as we can be, subject to a Council of Ministers meeting, that the budget request for 2015 is going to be actually able to be met. At least I think we're just over 1 million having confirmed, and we just need to get that last bit met. But I'm determined. I think that we've got to put the commitment behind Digital Jersey for Digital Jersey to succeed. Yes, we'll have some accountability questions. Yes, we'll question where the money's going, but Digital Jersey needs the resource, just as Jersey Finance did all those years ago. That will enable real progress to be made, and for Jersey to be regarded as what I want to be said in 10 years' time as the leading jurisdiction for technological development and the tech sector of its size, nothing less. Supportive words and financing are not going to be enough. Digital Jersey is going to have to prove it, and we're going to have to get some measurable outputs in terms of jobs and GVA, but I believe that we can do that. The principal objective of Digital Jersey